Hey there, my gardening friends. You're watching Gardening on Taylor Mountain, and I'm Bobby. Let's talk lilacs for a few minutes. It is around the 1st of May, and the lilacs have been in bloom for a couple of weeks now, just smelling fabulous. Wanted to talk to you for a few moments while we're here in the shade, and then I'm going to take you off the tripod, put you on another tripod, over to where some of my other lilac shrubs are. This is a baby Kim. It's called Baby Kim. I keep wanting to call it Little Kim. I think that's a rapper or something. Anyway, Baby Kim by Proven Winners, and it's just getting ready. The blooms are going to be opening here probably in another couple days. This particular lilac is not a rebloomer. Proven Winners makes some reblooming lilacs, and I'll show you. I have two. I do have a Miss Kim, which you may be familiar with, a Miss Kim lilac, which is more of an old-fashioned lilac. It's been around for a while. But this is a Baby Kim. It stays smaller, 2 to 3 feet tall and wide, so it's really good for a container. And that's what I plan to do, because I want to keep this lilac smell close around the house. When I walk out to feed the birds in the morning and to fill their bird feeders, my yard, it just makes me want to dance. It smells so good from my lilac bushes. I'm not an expert on lilacs by any means, but I do know a little bit about them because I've been growing them for a couple of years. Lilacs bloom on old wood, so you want to prune them. If you want to prune them, and really when you have a dwarf lilac, you don't really need to do any pruning on them. But if you do need to prune them, what I personally do is just cut off all the spent blooms, and I'll take you out and show you on my other lilac bush. So I don't want to get ahead of myself, but you want to be careful, because as soon as these are done blooming, they want to start setting their buds for the following year. So you want to be careful that you don't over prune your lilac. You can do what is called a rejuvenation prune on a lilac, but you have to realize that you probably won't get any blooms for 2, maybe 3 years if you have to do a rejuvenation prune, which means you're going to chop that thing almost all the way back. If you have a lot of dead wood, you can just go in your lilac bush and take out all of the dead wood. Lilacs do benefit from fertilizing in the spring, although they don't necessarily need fertilizing. I do fertilize mine with Rose Tone by Espoma. Lilacs don't like a lot of nitrogen, so you want to have some sort of fertilizer, whatever you most likely you would want to use a granular around the drip line, which you do, you know, with all of your shrubs and things like that. And you want to pick something or choose something that is a little bit lower in nitrogen. Of course, nitrogen is your first number. I have read some suggestions of a 5-10-10 is good, or a 10-10-10 is good. Just something that's not super high in nitrogen. Really looking forward to having this Baby Kim in a container. Proven Winners Company has really produced their lilacs to be low in disease. You know, sometimes the lilacs can get powdery mildew and different fungal diseases and things like that. But that's why I like to choose the Proven Winners as much as I can. Here's another good thing about lilacs. They are highly deer resistant. Now, I'm not saying that the deer won't come and try to munch on them, because these days, you just never know. You never know. I just planted a bunch of daffodils that I had taken out of one of my raised beds, and I wanted to replant them because I want them to perennialize for me in another spot. And the squirrels came and dug every one of them up. I used my power planter auger to plant those, and I was like so happy because I was finding good spots to plant all these. My auger was doing so good and everything like that. And my husband the other day said, "Oh, you know, did you notice your bulbs? They're all pulled up." I was like, "Yeah, I'm sure." Thank you, squirrels. But anyway, the fact that these lilacs are resistant or highly resistant to deer pressure is a good thing. So let's take you off the tripod. It is so sunny where my other shrubs are, but at least one of them. I want to show you the blooms have already started to go over now. I want to show you how I just snip the blooms off so that The one we're going to look at is a reblooming. It's one of the Bloomerang series reblooming lilacs by Proven Winners. So let's head over to that one and we'll take a look. Here's the Bloomerang reblooming lilac by Proven Winners. I don't think I mentioned when we were talking about the baby Kim that the lilacs are hardy in zones 3 through 7. When you see a tag that says a bush is hardy in the zone 3 through 7, for instance, and you see the ceiling of it is zone 7, that means if you live in those higher zones, these shrubs won't really do well for you just because they need their cold dormancy period over the winter to keep putting energy, keep producing their blooms that they're going to make and things like that. So that's just basically what that means. The Bloomerang reblooming lilac, they say is supposed to be 4 to 5 feet tall and wide. I'm 5'4", almost 5'5". So you can see it's a bit taller than me. It's happy in its spot here. So you do plan on maybe a little extra room when you go to plant your shrub. I'm going to look here and see some of the blooms that are already spent a little bit. I want to make sure we leave plenty for the pollinators. I see one that needs to be cut anyway down here. It's just a little bit of dead wood that needed to be cut out. Here's one that's spent. So I'm not going to cut too far down into the shrub. Just going to cut off the spent blooms. The Bloomerang blooms again in midsummer. That way this one can just put all of its energy, it doesn't have to worry about these spent blooms, can put all of its energy into producing the blooms for the summer. I'm going to leave that one because there's a few more little blooms left for the pollinators, but that's just basically what I do. Once it has bloomed the first time, I go in and cut off all the spent blooms, and then for your other varieties of your lilacs, you want to do the same thing. Just know that they probably are not rebloomers. You know, you have to buy the specific reblooming one. As I said with the baby Kim, the ones from Proven Winners have been bred to be disease resistant. They're not prone to that powdery mildew that some of the other lilacs get. So I really have been enjoying this lilac bush. The pollinators just absolutely love it. This particular shrub has been here, I'm going to say maybe 6 years now. So I would say they're kind of a moderate grower. I'm going to say it's pretty much topped out at its full height. This is another Bloomerang reblooming lilac from Proven Winners, and as you can see, it's only a couple feet tall. It was planted here, like I said, about 3 years ago, and it's been a little bit later blooming out than the larger one I showed you. The larger one I showed you, I'm not sure if I said started blooming around the probably second week of April, something like that, and that's when it started, just really started to put on its show. I want to tell you that that went through some frost, some freezing temperatures, we had snow, and it did not skip a beat. I'm just so happy and proud of these shrubs and how tough they are. And I've got birds just flying, swooping all around my head because I'm right at the little gourd that they've made the nest. But this smells so scrumptious. Oh my goodness. If you don't have any lilacs and if you have space for one, and if you get the dwarf, you know, the regular variety of lilacs sometimes can get 8, 10, 12 feet tall, but the dwarf stays around 5 to 6 feet tall. You saw my other one that's just topping out probably close to 6 feet tall. Or get a baby Kim and put it in a container or plant it close around your house, and you would just enjoy them so much. Lilacs just have that old-fashioned feel, you know, and you just feel like, oh, I'm kind of stepping back in time a bit. I have one more that I won't show you right now because it's the Miss Kim. It's not the baby Kim by Proven Winners, but it's still little and it only has about 3 blooms on it. It's going to get rather large. So I have it up in my production area. That's what I call the production area of my yard, where all the shrubs up there are used for cutting and things like that. So I call it the production area. I'm so glad you joined me for this little lilac chat. I hope you're enjoying your spring, and we will see you in the next video. Happy gardening. Bye-bye, friends.